by getting Deuteronomy 10, 12 through 13.
Deuteronomy 10, verses 12 and 13. And now, Israel, what doth the Most High Yah require of thee, but to fear the power, Yah, to walk in all his ways, and to love him, and to serve Yah with all thy heart and with all thy soul, to keep the commandments of the Most High and his statutes, which I command thee this day for thy good.
You see that he give us these commandments for our own good, and some things we understand, some we don't. But when it comes to hygiene, it's pretty clear and obvious on why he gave it to us. We get 1 Corinthians 1 and 25.
First Corinthians 1, verse 25. Because the foolishness of Yah is wiser than men, and the weakness of Yah is stronger than men.
You see that? So the most base level things that the Most High give us is better than the highest things that we can come up with. And like I said, I was watching this series on the History Channel about the Industrial Revolution, and it was well into the 1900s, well into the 20th century, before the rest of the world caught up to hygiene like that we were commanded to do in the nation of Israel thousands of years ago. Let me start off by getting the first article. Even then, still some of it is kind of questionable now. So this is an article from and the name of it is "More and More Celebrities Are Coming Out as Infrequent Bathers." And it reads, Remember that really odd Twitter debate back in 2019 when people disputed whether washing their legs was necessary when they took a shower? Well, you know what color they were. Well, the conversation has gotten weirder since celebs started discussing how little they bother washing, anything. It all began when Ashton Kutcher and Mila Kunis, who revealed during a podcast appearance that they only bathe their 4- and 6-year-old children when they see the dirt on them. Their comments trigger a ripple effect of other stars sharing their bathing habits or lack thereof. So it's just going into a list of celebrities. And this one says Dak Shepard and Kristen Bell. During that same podcast, Shepard said he and his wife used to bathe their daughters regularly, but they stopped when the kids got older. The couple later doubled down on the view, sharing that they often forget to bathe their kids at all. I'm a big fan of waiting for the stink, Kristen Bell says. Once you catch a whiff, that's biology's way of letting you know you need to clean up. Let's see, this is another person. Jake Gyllenhaal. Jake Gyllenhaal discussed several things relating to water, fast boats, and campaign for Prada's Luna Rossa Ocean. He's the new face of the fragrance, and his bathing ritual during a recent Vanity Fair interview. When asked about his shower routine, the Spider-Man Far From Hence actor said, "More and more, I find bathing to be less necessary." He added, but I do also think that there's a whole world of not bathing that is also really helpful for skin maintenance, and we naturally clean ourselves. So, and the list go on. It's a bunch of these. Okay, it's a good one. Brad Pitt. He shared that when you're sweating and don't have time to take a shower, you just take a baby wipe and rub it under your armpits, Ross says. As for Brad Pitt, Ross says Pitt told him, "I got 6 kids. All you got to do is just take them, a couple of quick wipes on their armpits." Pitts further explained, "Man, I'm getting peed on all day. I don't have time to take a shower." So you see Esau, even to this day, with the advances in hygiene and the convenience that it is to take a bath, that you can set the water at whatever temperature you want to, they just won't do it. Let's see what the Bible says about that in some of the some of the occasions that we took to bathe each other, that we took opportunities to wash and bathe. Let me get Genesis 43 and 23.
Genesis 43, verse 23. And he said, peace be to you. Fear not. Your power and the power of your father have given you treasure in your sacks. Did you say 43?
Yeah, Genesis 43 and 23.
Okay. And he said, peace be to you. Fear not. Your power and the power of your father have given you treasure in your sacks. I had your money. And he brought Simeon out unto them.
Did I give you the wrong one? Yeah, go to 24.
And the man brought the men into Joseph's house and gave them water, and they washed their feet. And he gave their asses provender.
So you see that this is when Joseph was in Egypt and his brothers came to buy food from him, and he recognized them, but they didn't recognize him. And he invited them in, and the first thing they did was, all right, get some water and wash yourself off. You traveled far. You see, that's the first thing they did as soon as they came in the house. Let me get Tobit 6, verse 1 and 2. So you see, it's a custom when we travel to someone's house, because you outside, you picking up dust and dirt on your feet. You get there, wash your feet, wash your hands, because you're dirty. You don't want to bring all that mess in the house.
Would you say Tobit what?
6, 1 and 2.
Tobit 6, verses 1 and 2. And as they went on their journey, they came in the evening to the river Tigris, and they lodged there. And when the young man went down to wash himself, a fish leaped out of the river and would have devoured him.
Did you see that? As soon as they found the river, it's like, okay, we've been traveling. Let me stop and clean myself up a little bit. You see that? So that's one. Every time we travel, it was custom and tradition to stop and wash. Get another article. This one is titled, Why Pilgrims in America Resisted Bathing. So when the Mayflower Pilgrims arrived in Plymouth in the early 17th century, they didn't smell terrific, according to Native Americans' accounts. Unlike the Wampanoag, these Europeans didn't bathe regularly. A surviving member of the Patascut Nation named Tisquantum or Squanto even tried and failed to convince them to start washing themselves, according to a 1965 biography. Bathing, as you and I know, was very uncommon among Eastern Europeans until the later part of the 18th century, says W. Peter Ward, a professor emeritus of history at the University of British Columbia and author of the new book, The Clean Body, A Modern History. This went for people of all social classes. Louis XIV, a 17th century king of France, is said to have only taken 3 baths in his entire life. Both rich and poor might wash their faces and hands on a daily or weekly basis, but almost no one in Western Europe washed their whole body with any regularity, says Ward. So you see that the Indians, the Native Americans, they Israelites, so they were still carrying the same bathing traditions that we would have had, and the same laws, keeping some of the laws still that we were given. So they're bathing all the time. Let me scroll down to their account. It says, the Native Americans that colonists encountered had different priorities in terms of hygiene. Like the Wampanoag, most Native Americans bathed openly in rivers and streams, and they also thought it was gross for Europeans to carry their own mucus around in handkerchiefs. Most Native people's teeth were also in much better shape than Europeans. Native people cleaned their mouth using a variety of methods, including brushing their teeth with wooden chew sticks, chewing on fresh herbs like mint to freshen their breath, and rubbing charcoal on their teeth to whiten them. In contrast, most Europeans who came over may not have brushed their teeth at all and had a diet that was generally worse for their oral health. You see that? So Native Americans, they bathing every day and brushing their teeth every day, just like we would do now. Of course, they were doing it in the river, but they took that step. I need to clean myself off every day. And while the Pilgrims, they weren't doing anything. Let me see. Let me get some more scriptures. Let me get Susanna 1:15 and 17.
Susanna 1:15 and 17. And it fell out as they watched a fit time. She went in as before with 2 maids only, and she was desirous to wash herself in the garden, for it was hot.
You see that? She just wanted to take a bath just because it was hot. It didn't say she was smelly or sweaty. It's just hot. I need to take a bath. You hear black people saying that all the time. Ooh, it's too hot out here. I need to go and clean myself up. I done got sweaty. Keep going.
Then she said to her maids, bring me oil and washing balls, and shut the garden door that I may wash me.
You see that? Bring me the soap. Bring me some lotion so I can take a bath. Let me get Exodus 30, 19 through 20. So you see how women, they just bathing just because they get hot and a little sweaty. It's time to take a bath now.
Exodus 30, 19 and 20. For Aaron and his sons shall wash their hands and their feet thereat. When they go into the tabernacle of the congregation, they shall wash with water that they die not. Or when they come near the altar to minister, to burn offerings made by fire unto the Most High.
You see that? So when the priests, they went into the temple to do the priestly work, or to make a sacrifice or to teach, you see they gotta wash themselves. Let me get 2 Samuel 12 and 20.
Second Samuel 12, verse 20. Then David arose from the earth and washed and anointed himself and changed his apparel and came into the house of the Most High and worshipped. Then he came to his own house, and when he required, they set bread before him, and he did eat.
You see that? So David went into the house just to worship, and you see he vowed to wash himself. So it seemed like the Most High take offense to you not being clean. So it's best to wash yourself before you come in His presence. So you have ceremonial unclean and actually unclean. It seems like He don't like neither one of them from these scriptures that I'm reading. Let me get Leviticus 15, 16 through 18.
Leviticus 15, 16 through 18. And if any man's seed of copulation go out from him, then he shall wash his flesh, all his flesh in water, and be unclean until the even. And every garment and every skin whereon is the seed of copulation shall be washed with water and be unclean until the even. The woman also with whom man shall lie with seed of copulation, they shall both bathe themselves in water and be unclean until the even.
You see that? So every time you have intercourse with your wife, or every time if you married, basically you gonna be bathing regularly. So there you go. Read down to verse 21.
And if a woman have an issue, and her issue in her flesh be blood, she shall be put apart 7 days, and whosoever toucheth her shall be unclean until the even. And everything that she lieth upon in her separation shall be unclean. Everything also that she sitteth upon shall be unclean. And whosoever toucheth her dead shall wash his clothes and bathe himself in water and be unclean until the even.
So you see that? So now you have to, even if you interact with a woman that's on her monthly cycle, you have to wash yourself. And she has to wash herself before she can come back in as well. So you see that the Most High had the Israelites. We were bathing. It was a reason to bathe every day, pretty much. Just from reading this. Let me get got a video for y'all.
I'm Captain Rhodey Torrance.
Can y'all hear that just fine?
This is an emergency. We've got...
It's easy to take for granted how cholera-free most people live their lives in the modern age, but during the Industrial Revolution, it was decisively less easy. Cholera was a real problem in 19th century England, with 4 separate cholera outbreaks that would take the lives of almost 15,000 people in London alone. The disease, which was rather fatal during this time, was easily spread due to poor water treatment management in the UK. There was nothing to guard against the sewage water and the drinking water, 2 streams that should very much never cross, from very much crossing. Hence the rapid rise of horrible diseases through contaminated water. They even gave this painful tummy disease a royal nickname, referring to it as King Cholera, which sounds like an 80s wrestler's name. Cholera wasn't infecting the streets of the UK alone, however. Typhus and typhoid were running these streets as well. Typhoid also spread through poorly treated water, hung out in the county's well water, and caused flu-like symptoms. Typhus was spread through lice, fun little bugs that loved a good group hang, and the crowded tenements and shared living spaces were basically typhus-smothered lice Coachella. During and after the Industrial Revolution, most of England's drinking water came from rivers, which were often contaminated with sewage and garbage. Of course, sewage and garbage river water, or what we today call Bud Light Lime, should only be consumed sparingly, if at all. In 1854, Dr. John Snow, who it should be noted knows nothing, hunted down a pump in London that was responsible for a particularly brutal outbreak of cholera that struck down 500 people in only 10 days. By mapping out the deaths, he was able to find and isolate the pump. English cities were built around their factories, and their houses were stacked on each other, making space at the time extremely limited. Couple that with the lack of modern plumbing we often take for granted, and English streets were literally full of crap. Without toilets, the city chose to inexplicably toss the citizens' human excrement casually into the streets. Alternatively, some buildings built underground cesspools for poop and pee to hang out. But inevitably, those would overflow and toxic waste would spill out onto the streets like Philadelphia fans after the Eagles won the Super Bowl. It hadn't yet occurred to the occupants of England during the Industrial Revolution that dung in the street might be gross and full of bacteria, but the science hadn't caught up to their reality yet. Despite the notably deteriorating conditions, the UK sort of dragged its heels to pass any meaningful legislation to end the health crisis caused by lack of sanitation. But it wasn't for the lack of anybody bringing it to their attention. In 1842, reformer Edwin Chadwick, British sanitation advocate, released a report succinctly entitled Report on the Sanitary Conditions of Laboring Population of Great Britain. In it, he argued that the living conditions of Britain's poorest working class were extremely subpar and tied the relationship between living in squalor and spreading disease. This pitch, however convincing, went nowhere until 1848 with the passing of the first British Public Health Act. In Chadwick's 1842 proposal, he presented the idea of not living in squalor as a way to save the government some change by knocking poor people off of government assistance. Many families at the time relied on government funds and services after losing family members to a myriad of infectious diseases. To all who are watching this, please don't get any ideas. It would take yet another cholera outbreak in 1848 before the government implemented the act, which included a framework for towns to have medical doctors, proper sewage, trash disposal, and clean drinking water. In other words, fully functioning safe cities, with neither the money nor the oversight.
You see that? You see that? So it was well into the 1800s before they realized, wait, we can't just leave human waste out here in the street, or it's causing the health crisis. And the same thing was going on in a bunch of cities. It's another video I got, where they were doing the same thing in New York. But yeah, the tenements in New York, they didn't start cleaning it up till, like I said, late 1800s, which is pathetic when you think about it. When we got laws in the Bible for that. Let me get Deuteronomy 23 and 10 through 14, because the Most High told us to do what to do with our waste.
23 what?
10 through 14.
10 through 14. Deuteronomy 10, 10 through 14.
23, 10 through 14.
I'm sorry, I had it backwards. Deuteronomy 23, 10 through 14. Deuteronomy 10, 23 through 14. Deuteronomy 23, 10 through 14. If there be among you any man that is not clean by reason of uncleanness, that chances himself by night, then shall he go abroad out of the camp. He shall not come within the camp. But it shall be when evening cometh on, he shall wash himself with water, and when the sun is down, he shall come into the camp again.
Just for any reason or uncleanness at all, go take a bath and come back later. Anything. Keep going.
Thou shalt have a place also without the camp, whither thou shalt go forth abroad, and thou shalt have a paddle upon thy weapon, and it shall be when thou wilt ease thyself abroad, thou shalt dig therewith, and shalt turn back and cover that which cometh from thee.
You see that? Did y'all understand what he just said? Read that one again. I'll break it down.
I got it, but I go ahead. And thou shalt have a paddle upon thy weapon.
Take a shovel.
And it shall be when thou wilt ease thyself abroad.
Okay, when you go and use the bathroom, go away from everybody, abroad from the camp.
Thou shalt dig therewith, and shalt turn back and cover that which cometh from thee.
All right, dig a hole and bury it. Don't just leave it sitting out for somebody to step in it, and don't use the bathroom right there in the street in the chief place of concourse where everybody to go. Go away from everybody. Use the bathroom, cover it up, and then come back. I mean, it was so simple. How many years ago was the law written, Elder? Was it 5,000 years ago, 4,000 years ago? 1,000 years ago, we had this knowledge, and they didn't figure this out till the 1800s. Was that it on that?
No.
Okay,
for the Most High Yah walketh in the midst of thy camp to deliver thee and to give up thine enemies before thee. Therefore shall thy camp be holy, that he sees no unclean thing in thee and turn away from thee.
You ever heard the people say cleanliness is next to godliness? That it is right there in the Bible. The Most High don't even want to walk through here with all this filth. There it is. But yep, and this is the last precept. I'm gonna get let me get Mark 7, verse 1 through 3.
Mark 7, verses 1 through 3. Then came together unto him the Pharisees and certain of the scribes which came from Jerusalem. And when they saw some of his disciples eat bread with defiled, that is to say, with unwashed hands, they found fault. For the Pharisees and all the Jews, except they wash their hands oft, eat not, holding the tradition of the elders.
You see that? He said they were mad at Yahweh and the disciples because they didn't wash their hands right before they ate, because it was a tradition of the elders to wash their hands often and right before they ate. So that just go to show you how clean of a people we were. We washed our hands very often. Was that it on that?
Yeah.
All right. Yep. So you see that the Most High had us a couple thousand years ahead of everybody in terms of hygiene. Now, just imagine if we just kept those laws just by, it was just in our spirit to keep some of those laws. But just imagine if we kept everything like how we were supposed to, how we would be a couple thousand years ahead of everybody in everything. So with that, I like to close out. Shalom.
Shalom.
Questions, comments, concerns?
Yeah, shalom, man. Yeah, that was great. Yeah, good lesson. That was to point out the filthiness of the nations, man. They were a couple of years behind us, and they still several thousand years behind us.
They are.
Yeah, they're just basically some filthy people because they still say things like it's not bath day. I think they take Saturday to bathe or something.
Yeah, like I said, Most High had us bathing for anything.
Yeah, I hear that. I hear that down here in the country, from these rednecks. I hear that sometimes. It's not bath day.
Hmm.
That's what they say, and alluding to they bathe once a week.
That's true. Because I don't know if anybody's ever seen Smokey and the Bandit. Y'all ever seen that old movie with Burt Reynolds and Jackie Gleason?
I remember him.
Yeah, I remember it.
All right. Well, there was a scene on the highway where one of the cops fell in a puddle of water. Another cop rolled up and said, "Boy, don't you know today ain't Saturday?" That's what he was referring to, because they only bathe once a week. And that was in the South. So that's why you hear a lot about that in the South, because that's all they did. Once a week, they would bathe. That's it.
Shalom. This is Brother John. There was a real interesting part where you said the Most High said, go off abroad and, pretty much use a shovel and dig it up and cover it back up.
Yep.
And I wish we still had that method and try to, find a way to update it and sort of speak, due to the fact that now the waste matter is in the water. Every drop of water that's drinking out, and it's being filtered out, but yet and still it's touching waste matter and the in sewages and in our water systems.
Yep. So.
Yeah, that's that's where you get the septic tank and the outhouse. That's where you get that from. So that was, it was away from where you ate. It was away from where you dwelt, and you would walk over to the outhouse because that's where everything was. Hole was dug, and when it got to the point where no more waste could go in there, you moved the outhouse. You covered and you backfilled it, covered it. All the waste went back to the earth, and now it was set somewhere else. Another hole is dug and set somewhere else for you to put waste in. That's normally how that's how it used to be, and that's just the process that we read in the law. You dig a hole, you go away. You dig a hole, you cover it up. That's how it was done. But what you read, the articles you read, we see that Esau, he just handled his business right there in the street, just left it right there. That's where you got all of those bubonic plagues and all that kind of stuff, the Black Plague and all that. That's why they had that stuff there, because they didn't wash themselves.
Yeah, because I think the bubonic plague came from rats, if I can recall.
But they had rats because it was all of the filth.
Yeah, they didn't throw their trash because. Yeah, I can share that one too. Where they put their trash out in the street too. So of course, throwing trash out in the street, there's gonna be plenty of rats. And
I mean, can you imagine that thing? That's why we lost. I mean, can you imagine that thing running at you? A fully naked, hairy, red man, full of excrement, piss and excrement, running at you, hollering and screaming, trying to fight. No wonder we lost them wars and got kicked out of there.
You too bougie to fight the nasty people.
Hold on, let me show you some of these.
No wonder we
it's
lost.
Another video. Let me show you this other video. No. It's that one.
In 1864, in hopes of getting extra government aid, the doctor distributed $435,000 in cash and $250,000 in bonds among legislators, their proxies, friends, and relatives. If you think it's safe, Congress...
No, this ain't the one. Hold on, me.
Railroads had already been built out past the...
Might be that one.
Whatnot.
I wrote the name of that thing down. That ain't it. Hold on.
Key to illuminating the planet's darkest corners.
The expression, a picture's worth 1,000 words. That's a low ball.
That's the one right here.
And the Lower East Side during these years was the single most crowded.
There we go.
People were crowded in. There were windowless tenements. Sometimes you had no internal plumbing, just privies in the basement, in the backyard. And the Lower East Side during these years was the single most crowded place in the entire world.
Jacob Riis, Danish immigrant, crime reporter, photographer. He gets leads for stories from Chief Inspector Burns. Now, he's about to expose the hell of tenements. Jacob Riis knows what it's like to be poor. 15 years ago, he lost his job in a stock market crash. It's midnight, but Riis has a new technology that will change the public perception of poverty forever. An explosive powder that produces enough light to photograph in the dark. This is one of the first ever photographs of slum life.
I mean, look how they live.
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Jacob A. Riis, and this is how the other half live and die in New York City.
Magazines refuse to print his work, so Riis puts on his own magic lantern shows. His mission, to show the nation's wealthy something they've never seen before, filth and desperation on their doorstep.
In this block, 9 dead were carried out this year alone. 5 in baby coffins.
What he demonstrated was that there is another reality, that all that prosperity didn't trickle down all the way to the bottom, and there were some deplorable living conditions, and this country was not just forced to confront those conditions, but then was moved to begin to deal with them.
Riis publishes his pictures in a book called How the Other Half Lives. It will sell more than 28 million copies. Within 2 decades, the worst of New York's slums are torn down. Tenements sell at auction for as little as $1. Riis's campaigning forces all New York schools to build playgrounds and landlords to install toilets inside apartments, not outside. It is the first step in tackling the slums. But as cities keep on growing, an even bigger challenge remains. In New York alone, nearly 40,000 die in 1 year from diseases. Because of this, filth. 1895. Our major cities are drowning in filth.
1895.
120,000 horses dump 500,000 pounds of manure into the New York streets every day. Wagons are blocked by 3-foot-high piles of human and animal waste. Into this world steps a man on a white horse, Colonel George Waring. Civil War veteran, legendary sewer engineer, apostle of cleanliness. He's the head of New York's sanitation department.
The city stinks with the emanations of putrefying organic matter. Black rottenness is seen and smelled on every hand. The crowded streets are a veritable hell.
Waring recruits an army of 2,000 sanitation workers in white uniforms. Some dismiss him as a crank. They call his men white ducks, but Waring means business. Tons of garbage, normally dumped into the river, is recycled. Ash becomes landfill on Rikers Island. Organic waste boiled into oil and grease. Waring is America's first eco-warrior. His men clean 433 miles of street. Death rates decline. Water quality improves. Waring saves the lives of thousands.
All right, that's all I need to get on that.
That's awful.
Right. I mean, stuff that was common sense to us, you know. Like,
yeah.
You know, this guy revolutionary for just, well, I need to clean this stuff up. You know, I mean, something that's common sense, you know.
Can you imagine being celebrated for brushing your teeth?
I know, right?
I mean, unless you was like 4 or 5 years old, you know, good job. Good job for brushing your teeth.
Man, you see what they said they did with it?
Well, I guess I better get this human excrement up.
I know, right?
It's like, man.
He was a hero just for cleaning it up.
Just for cleaning up. You never knew you were a hero, huh?
Man. And that was 1895. That wasn't.
Yeah, people think 1895 was a long time ago. It wasn't. It wasn't that long ago.
That was 130 years ago.
Yeah.
Well, like you said earlier, Maccabees, that we were given this long time ago. This was written a long time ago for us to be clean. So, right. You know, once we were scattered and those people started coming around, you know, Europeans at different places we were and taking us captive, or prior to that, especially the natives here or the original, you know, the indigenous people here, they did teach them how to clean themselves, you know?
Yeah. And that's funny how he was talking about burying it to purify it, and it goes back to the earth. It was like, you ever use dirt to clean your hands? Rub your hand in mud and clean up?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No, nobody ever done that but me.
Yeah, I said
no,
yeah.
That's that army stuff.
Oh, I thought I was crazy.
I've touched the soot from a grill or something, and then use dirt to scrub my hands to get the black soot off my hand. Yeah.
I've used dirt to get paint off, to clean up all type of things. Just mud, just simple mud.
Yeah, it works. It works.
Hey, Elder.
Yes.
You were talking about the outhouses and how when the hole got full, you would cover it up. Did you notice everywhere those outhouses were moved, the grass was greener?
Yeah, the grass is greener. It's like that with septic tanks too. You normally can find where a septic tank is by just looking at the land and seeing that the grass is, if the patch of grass is greener than the rest, that's normally where the septic tank is.
Yeah.
And it's like that with the outhouse too, because it's fertilized.
Yep.
Yeah.
But man, I mean, yeah, it's like just the stuff that they act like was just a breakthrough in science and technology.
Well,
Just
that's
sweeping
another to
the
me.
poop off the streets.
To me, that's another identifying mark too. That you see them now, dressed up, everything else. They go to the bathroom, come straight out, don't wash their hands or nothing.
Yep.
Same spirit, same mentality.
You know what's funny? I was just thinking about even a cat kicks litter over its excrement, excrement and
That's
dogs
true.
too.
That's true.
They don't just wade in that.
Yeah, that's true.
But you saying they more based than animals?
Yeah.
But I saw that.
Yeah. What's that scripture in Job? They say he
There's
abased
Job
me and
30
violed
and
in the earth.
yeah, Job. Yeah, I think it's Job 30 and
30. Yeah.
probably verse 8, I believe. I think right around verse 8.
Yeah. Yeah, quite disgusting. That was a wonderful lesson.
Yep, 30 and 8, and they were children of fools. Yeah, children of base men. They were viler than the earth.
Eden. Is that where they were dwelling in the clefts?
Yep, that's that one. Yep.
Yeah. Eating juniper roots and mallows and yeah.
You notice how they say we don't have no Neanderthal DNA in us. That Neanderthal DNA, that's them.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not as long as they're saying either. It's not like it's 250,000 years ago either. That's recent.
So it was right before the 1800s, huh?
Yeah, it's recent.
They was living in England. The person Neanderthal man comes from England.
Yeah, they lost their mind. I don't know, man. I mean, you have people. They. I mean, do you know how complicated a train was to build at that time?
Say it again.
I said, do you know how complicated it was to build a train at that time?
Yeah.
Or make a steel mill. I mean, but they figured out how to do that in the 1800s.
Mm-hmm.
But can't figure out how to bathe and keep poop off the street. It's crazy.
That's how you know. That's how you know. I think AD said something about that's how that's a telltale sign. That's how you know that they wasn't the ones that built the aqueducts. They wasn't the ones that built the bathhouses. They wasn't the ones that built the bathrooms. The ones that you see in Rome and all over in Europe, those bathhouses and things like that. We did that. That's how you know. They didn't care nothing about bathing in 1895. They sure didn't care about bathing in the 16, 17, 335 AD. They care nothing about that. So that's how you know it's a telltale sign. I ran into a brother one time, this was years ago, and I told him I wanted to go visit Africa, and he was like, oh, I ain't going over there. I said, why not? He said, they ain't got bathrooms and stuff. I couldn't believe he said that, though. I could not believe that he was so ignorant that he said that. He said they didn't have toilets in Africa. But that's how you know so many people are blind behind true history.
Yep. And then another thing in that first video I played, if I had played all the way through it, it was talking about how doctors of that time thought that like sickness, like that, like okay, let's say you get sick from poop or whatever. they were leaking that they believed that the sickness was from the bad smell itself and not from the poop, which was the source of the bad smell. So, you know, they whole thing, they would treat the symptom of covering up the smell instead of getting rid of the poop.
Listen,
a lot of them still got the same mindset today.
Listen, when I went to Desert Storm in '90, when you go on R&R, like to Riyadh, and even in the city where we lived at, it was called King Khalid's Military City, the most beautiful, lavish hotels. Like to this day, I've never seen one this beautiful, but it's outlined. They had like about maybe 2-3 feet of bird feces outlining the whole hotel. I mean, you do something about this. I don't understand it. and then they had different toilets. They had it would just be like if you ripped your toilet from your floor and just had a base right there. And then it would be like a hose there. They weren't using toilet tissue, but they would shower and use the bathroom in the same stall. So we had to actually like build frames for the toilets and put toilet seats on there and put notices up there like you use this toilet for showering. I mean, you use this for showering and this for using the bathroom. And that's how we doing that. But that's what I was saying last week about how the practices that they have over there, you know.
Yeah, because it was like that in China too. I wouldn't say they showered in the same one. I don't know about
No, they shower. They shower in the same one, the very same stall.
Yeah, I know in China the toilet it is just a hole in the floor with the well, you know, it got like it's an actual plumbing fixture. You know, it's a porcelain thing that you stand on. And, you know,
they got a flange in the floor where the toilet go.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It was I guess a base. Is that a flange? But it was just like I said. But I was just trying to give you the outlook of how how it would be.
Right, but yeah, like you said, you can't flush it or nothing. Though. I mean, it ain't no.
Right. It's just a little.
You know, that's how it was in China. You just use the bathroom and the thing. You can't flush it. I mean, it don't go nowhere. And then tissue. They had a waste basket in the corner over there. I mean, you just wipe yourself and throw it in the corner. So I mean,
yeah.
I kid you not. I never used to go to the bathroom in that plant. I used to, if I went, I tried to go before 9 o'clock because you know by the time lunch came, it was over. The bathroom smelled horrible. You know, I mean, you got thousands of people that got used to bathrooms every day, and they just wiping and the tissue still in there.
Yeah. But see,
the waste still right there. I mean, I guess somebody come and wash it down at the end of the day. I don't know, but you know, it's.
But let me tell you too. Before I got to Saudi Arabia, I loved salads like everywhere. I mean, I had a salad like every day. And when we got to Saudi Arabia, I said, you know, I never wanted a salad. Never ate one salad. Never ate any vegetables. And then they made an announcement that we were not to eat any of the vegetation because they were fertilizing it with human feces.
Yeah. Yep. I think they still do that now, though, to some extent.
They probably do.
They do.
Like I said,
yeah. What's the name of Dillo dirt?
That was normal for them. It's not normal for us, but you know.
You get a lot of that with migrant workers too. Y'all know that, right?
Yeah.
Ain't no bathrooms out there.
Mm-hmm.
They just go.
Go in the field.
Go in the field.
Yeah,
and you know, if they got tissue, they have tissue, or if they got, you know, hay or leaves or whatever, they handle that, and and then they just, you know, pull up their clothes and get the picking.
A lot of them places that they had at where you throwing tissue in the corner or putting it in trash, they don't have the infrastructure as far as plumbing to accommodate that, and that's why they live that way, because they ain't put the plumbing in to do it.
Yeah.
I can't take Deacon Kiefer. I just cracks him up, you know.
What? Hey, listen, man. I love my assembly. Tell you that much. But yeah, he nasty hygiene practices all over.
Shalom, everyone. I just wanted to say Toda for the lesson. It was really good. I've just been listening to you guys. I wanted to say that they had a recall. It was a couple of months back here in Michigan. They said it was some, what do you call it? Amish something that was Amish. And they said some products or vegetation or something. They said it was fertilized with human waste, and they had recalled it and told everybody don't eat these brands because of that reason. Shalom, Sister Washington. I couldn't hear you.
A couple of people had got real sick.
Oh.
Yeah, I remember reading that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. So.
Yeah. Do y'all remember Chi-Chi's, the restaurant?
Yeah.
Remember they shut down because they shut down like 2 or 3 times because of the people got what was it? Not E. coli. Was it E. coli? They got E. coli from the vegetables that they were serving.
Mm.
Yeah, the tomatoes. Because they traced it back to, just like I said, people were squatting in the fields.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah, and that's the thing with that. I mean, when you fertilize with manure, you don't just go and just get fresh manure and just put it in there.
Exactly.
Yeah, it has to be cured. It has to be cured. Yeah.
It's supposed to cure. It's supposed to cure for 120 days.
Yeah, I would say you usually do it like in the summer, and then you don't put none, over the winter. Basically, you just let it sit and cure.
Right.
And then by the time spring come around again, it's safe. But yeah, you don't just go and just take it and put it and then just start growing the same spring.
Right.
Yeah, it'll release a bunch of gases and it'll heat up and basically kind of cook itself.
Yeah, right. Yep. If you ever put your hand in like some compost, it be hot in the center.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It can be. I don't care how cold it is outside. It's hot.
Yeah, you have to turn it. You have to turn it.
Yeah, because it's like with aerobic and anaerobic bacteria. One needs oxygen to for it to cure, and like the stuff in the middle, it don't need no oxygen. So but yeah, that's why you got to turn it so both of them can do their thing and break it down.
Right.
Mm-hmm. I just wanted to say too that even when COVID came out, I don't know if you guys remember, they kept saying when over and over and over again about the hygiene, they kept saying everyone needs to be more diligent about hand washing, that kind of thing. And so, they know that they don't bathe like they should. They know that they don't wash their hands every time when they come out the bathroom. And they know why this was spreading like wildfire, because they weren't taking the proper precautions that they knew that could prevent from it being so bad. But even where I work at, the facility I work at, I remember that time they put up signs everywhere in the bathrooms. They put up all these extra sanitizer, where you just put your hand up to it and it drops out. They put a bunch of those everywhere. Now, we never really had them all over the place. You had them in some of the common areas where you walk in and out of, but they put them every single hallway, every door, they had them everywhere. But that's because they know they don't. Literally, I've been at my job, and I'm talking about nurses, RNs, come out the stall. They taking care of patients in the OR, and they don't wash their hands. One lady, I've watched her. She runs her hands underwater. She run the water. She won't run her hands under the water, but she won't pump the soap. I watched her. She never pumped the soap. And what is that? If it's right there, why not use it? Why?
It's in their nature.
Yeah.
It's in their nature.
It is. And now it's really crazy how they came up with the blowers for the restrooms, and all they do is get contaminated with fecal matter.
Yeah.
And blow it all over the place instead of just using simple paper towels. So it's a total difference in you air drying your hands instead of drying with paper towel after you wash your hands.
Mm-hmm.
You know, all that stuff needs to be ripped out, and it should just be nothing but paper towels in there. You know, the nastiest thing was when they used to have the cloth towels to dry your hands in the bathroom.
I remember that, yeah.
So everybody is recycling dirt.
They was putting up all them signs about reminding people to wash their hands and be clean, all this stuff. They wasn't talking to us because that's stuff we did on the normal. That's what we did on the regular.
Right.
That was for them. That was for them.
And they was cleaning themselves out of fear.
Yeah,
that's all it was. Out of fear of contracting some COVID, 19. They was washing their hands and cleaning themselves out of fear.
Yeah.
Listen, every one of us.
That's a damn shame. You got to scare somebody into being clean.
Exactly.
Every one of us had to. Your mother used to call you in to eat dinner. Go wash your hands.
Yo, yeah.
Go wash your hands. You bathe before you go to bed because you're dirty and you don't get in the bed that way.
Right.
That's right.
You don't wear your pants. You don't even come in the house and sit on your bed.
Mm-mm.
No. Nope.
Take your shoes off at the front door.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
If not the porch.
I was gonna say, depending on where you was at and what you was doing, you better just drove outside.
It might be on the porch. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, if
that's why
it's
it's crazy
muddy out there.
People indeed. I don't know if they do it down south, but oh boy, down here it drives me crazy to see people at the store in pajamas. Pajamas and house shoes.
Slippers.
And slippers.
Right.
Yeah. And then you gonna come home and sit on your bed with that. Those are your pajamas. Nobody should know what what you wear to bed.
Exactly.
Except your husband or your your house up.
It's terrible when both male and females do it, but it's really terrible when you see a man out in the street with pajamas on.
It is. And I just saw it the other day, and I man.
It's just horrible, period.
It burns
and
me
then,
up.
like, I don't understand how you could, especially in the winter. Like, how could you do that in the winter with all this in Detroit? I mean, it's salt everywhere. It's slushy. You ever went to the gas station and, went right after the snow, and then you step out and you step in all that brown slush and sludge.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, yeah, you go step in that in your house shoes?
Right.
I was in Waterford the other day, and I don't know if it's a Waterford thing, but I went into Myers and Waterford, and damn near everybody had on pajamas. And I was like, I guess that's their style or something. That's what they're doing there. I don't know. I don't understand it, but
not realizing it's symbolic that they still sleep.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's disgusting. But I saw that Ashton Kutcher and Mila Kunis. That's just disgusting.
It is.
How you a woman talking about you don't immerse in water daily? I don't understand it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you don't sit your behind down in some water.
You need to be. Yeah, indeed. I'm like, that's insane.
Mm-hmm.
And he brought up the verses when you lay with a woman, both of y'all supposed to, after you did your thing and spilled your seed, both of y'all need to get clean.
Right.
And whatever it got on, everything else.
And your clothes, everything. Yep. Yeah, you need to clean up.
That's right.
Listen.
The Bible, like you said, Captain Maccabees, as you said, the Bible was years ahead.
Mm-hmm.
Years ahead. Because all of that washing yourself and washing your clothes and all that was protecting us from germs.
Right.
That's what it was. It was protecting us from germs. It was protecting the camp from being diseased. That's why it said it says a woman that has that menstruate every month. She was put outside the camp because at that time it was blood that was running. That's why she was unclean.
Mm-hmm.
Because the blood carries disease. Bodily fluids carries disease.
Right. You're absolutely correct on that.
So that's why she was noted as, hey, she can't come amongst the assembly. She can't come into the camp because right now she's unclean. That's the reason why when women had babies, they still would run. They still would have bodily fluids coming out of them. They would be unclean for a certain amount of time.
Mm-hmm.
That's why you as a man and me as a man will be unclean, because when my seed of compilation would come out, it would get on me, get on my clothes, depending on how wild things got. You know, depending on how wild things got, it's seed everywhere. You know, it's unclean.
Excuse me.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me. Excuse me. Can we all pray for our elder? This is our leader. That's our leader.
You know, excuse me. Excuse me.
Our leader
Oh,
truly needs
man.
help. I tell him every day, you need help.
Now I'm gonna choke off this food I'm sitting up here eating.
It depends on how, what went down. You know what I'm saying?
But I
you
mean,
unclean.
That's true though. You get everything got to be clean. Yep.
Everything got to be clean. That
That's
kept
true.
down the disease. That kept down the germs. Kept down the disease.
Absolutely.
I mean, yeah, like when you just think about it, you cleaning. If you just say your woman come on her monthly cycle, I mean everything she touching, you. So I mean you washing all the upholstery, all the sheets. Every time you lay with your wife, you washing the sheets, you washing clothes. I mean, you washing something, and you definitely washing yourself every day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Something is getting washed every day in this house. That's the thing.
Well, the thing is too, I mean, I know it's especially for that to cut down on disease and, bacteria or whatever may have been there. But I think that sets us apart too. I mean, it's obvious in the spirit of the people, it sets us apart. It was of course a law for us, but I think it's also something that us being the people of the Most High, that's something that's in us as well, just like it's something that's not in them. They don't care about being like that. They don't care about, they think it's natural for them.
Yep.
Right.
Well, yeah, that's what I read in
the,
Deuteronomy. That's what we read in Deuteronomy 23 and 14.
Let's get the scripture. Let's get the scripture on it in Exodus the 19th chapter. Exodus 19 and started like 9.
Exodus 19:9. The Most High said unto Moses, Lo, I come unto thee in a thick cloud, that the people may hear when I speak with thee, and believe thee forever. And Moses told the words of the people unto the Most High. And the Most High said unto Moses, Go unto the people and sanctify them today and tomorrow, and let them wash their clothes.
So today they had to wash. Tomorrow they had to wash.
Mm-hmm.
Come on.
And be ready against the third day. For the third
and
day,
the third day they had to wash too.
Mm.
So they washed that day that he said it. The next day they washed, and the third day they washed too.
Mm.
That's the process of sanctification.
Read on. Sure is. All praises. Read on.
For the third day to the Most High will come down into the sight of all the people upon Mount Sinai. And
so the Most High said, go ahead, read on.
Oh, go ahead.
And so the Most High said, 3 days of washing before I get there. 3 days of washing. Wash your clothes, wash the people, wash your children, get the wax out their ear, wash between the toes, wash all your garments, wash your tents, wash your everything. All the eating utensils, everything got to be clean before I get there.
Mm.
Read on.
Thou shalt set bounds unto the people round about, saying, Take heed to yourselves, that ye go not up into the mount, or touch the border of it. Whosoever toucheth the mount shall be surely put to death.
And even though we did 3 days of cleaning, the Most High said, you still can't touch me because I'm going to put you to death if you try to touch me. That's after 3 days of washing. Why you should start laughing? He said, still don't touch me. The Most High is clean, boy.
Yeah, you see that's what he's
a germaphobe.
Yeah.
The Most High is a germaphobe.
You see that's what he said in Deuteronomy 23 and 14. He's like, I don't even want to come in this camp. I don't even want to walk through this camp if y'all ain't clean. You know, it's supposed to be a holy camp.
A germaphobe and a separatist.
And a separatist. A touch me not. The Most High is a touch me not. Oh man, all praises.
Well, that just shows how we're supposed to be. I mean, when you really think about it, that's serious. Like that's also what sets us apart, because that's a process of sanctification. It's being sanctified for Him is to be clean, not only just spiritually, but just physically as well. You know, we can't take that lightly. And then looking at them in the way that they are, that is just strictly just filthy. That's just nasty.
Yeah, they're the opposite of us.
Yeah, the total opposite.
Total opposite. Hey, can we get 13 too? The Most High is something else, man. Let's get 13 too.
Yeah, there shall not an hand touch it, but he shall surely be stoned or shot through. Whether it be a beast or a man, it shall not live. When the trumpet soundeth long, they shall come up to the mount. And Moses
he said he don't care whether it's a human being or if your dog come near and touch it. The dog gonna get put to death. Your beast, if your cattle come near me, I'm going to kill it. Everything got to be clean when I come down here. And if you still try to reach out and touch me, I'm going to put you to death and put your cattle to death or whatever come near me.
Wow.
Yeah. He's all cold.
that he is.
I concur. Coach C, he's out cold.
He ain't playing.
Oh man. Yeah. That's on YouTube too. That's on YouTube. He's out cold.
He is. Everybody be running around talking about they can't wait to Howard Shaw get here. I'm like, I think I can wait. I think I can wait a little. I think I can wait. I mean, everything
can we go to 15? Read that real quick.
Oh, we got to get 14 still. Okay. I get them both. And Moses went down from the mount unto the people and sanctified the people, and they washed their clothes. And he said unto the people, be ready against the third day. Come not at your wives.
Don't have sex.
Yeah, he's immaculately clean.
I mean, can you imagine if you just walk up to your Howard shower, you got allergies by chance? Oh, it might not turn out well for you.
Yeah, what? You say what?
I said, you walk up to your Howard shower, you got allergies or something. It might not end well for you.
Did you just cough?
Yeah, for real. What happened to him? What happened to him? He got put to death. What'd he do? Sneeze.
For real.
He sneezed at the wrong time.
Yeah, he's supposed to lead the camp and sneeze. He sneezed right here.
Yeah.
Who's the prophet? Didn't he run up on Yahweh Shai with shoes on and he told him to take them shoes off?
Oh, that was Joshua.
Yeah. Take them shoes off.
Yeah, you coming near me.
Huh?
I think it was the 5th chapter of Joshua. I ain't sure. I'm not sure the verse right now, but I believe it was the 5th chapter.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean, you see how he doing the Levites. Man, before y'all come in here and do anything, wash yourself, man. Don't even come in here. I don't want to see no sacrifice. I don't want no burnt offerings. Wash yourself first.
And told him to put some drawers on.
Yeah, I don't want to see your stones.
Yeah,
I don't want to see
go
your
clean
stones.
yourself and put some drawers on.
And if a man have and if you got a imperfection in your stones, you couldn't perform the service.
That's right. That's right.
Mm.
I mean, if you had an accident and one of your you know what I'm saying, injured your private part, you couldn't perform the Levitical service.
Because you defective. You got to be perfect.
Yeah, you got a defect.
Exactly.
You got a defect.
That's right. Yeah, he wasn't playing, and still ain't.
So that's even as small as this. Even this with this, like you got a lot of brews that you know what I'm saying. We like to sing and stuff. We Judites, we like to give the Most High praise, but you can't be giving the Most High anything. Like you hear a lot of songs and stuff just because they saying Yah, Shah, Yahoshua, or whatever they singing, supposed to be giving praise to the Most High. They sound terrible. They sound terrible. And you can't be giving the Most High just anything.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Why we think we ain't supposed to be perfect when it comes to the Most High? Why perfect pitch and perfect tone? But you supposed to be just encouraging people to sound ridiculous.
It's like Cain. That's like Cain. That's Cain's offering.
Exactly.
I mean, come on.
Exactly.
Yep, that came to my mind when you said that too. Yeah.
Just give you whatever.
Why do he have to accept your praise, your offering, and it's not perfection?
Voice cracking.
Yeah,
you know you can't sing. You want to sing, but you know you can't. But you want to lead to sing it.
You better clap your butt off. I guess that came out wrong, but y'all know what I mean.
Because they will do it. They will clap their butt off.
That came out wrong, but y'all know what I mean.
You know.
Oh man.
You know you can't carry a tune, but you want to be up there leading the singing and singing before talking about something. And everybody's supposed to be like, oh yeah, our praises. Let's give it a hand for so and so. No, you sound terrible.
You know how you know how you see in them old movies from like middle age the Middle Ages and stuff, they'd come up like the jester or somebody that come try to perform something for the king, and it's bad.
Yeah.
And he's like, man, off with his head. How much more you think for the Most High? How much more for the Most High?
That's real though. That's real.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And I ain't just talking about, normal singing to yourself. Now I can sing around the house. I can carry a tune around the house. That's around the house. I'm not sitting up there trying to be all at Passover and all at Tabernacle singing and lead. Come on, let's all sing together. Lead stuff. I'm cracking, not not holding my end, sounding terrible. But this supposed to be something that you give into the Most High? No.
You know what that reminds me of? Kind of like having like the heart of David, when David was sitting around thinking like, look at my house, and then the Most High out there in the tent. So he started thinking to build a tabernacle for him. And so that's when the prophet came to him and said, okay, yeah, go ahead, do so. But he thought along the lines of what we're talking about, what you just said.
Perfection for the Most High.
Exactly. I got to do
He
what's
deserved
right.
Perfection. He deserved perfection.
No, I think that's a good thought process to have. It's a change of heart you got to have to shoot for perfection, for to praise him with, to worship, to honor him with.
I mean, what do you say?
But
you don't have step. It's like that's like being lukewarm almost. It's
right.
It's like don't either come all the way or just don't come at all, you know.
Right.
But
I
see,
think Deacon
even
Keefer
with
said it. It's like you don't want to be like Cain. That's exactly like Cain. He just came half stepping, you know.
Yeah, gonna give him what he want to give him
Mm-hmm.
Instead of what's required. You know.
That's right.
but didn't he even tell David wasn't good enough to make his to build his home, didn't he?
That's right. His hands was full of blood.
Yeah,
exactly. Yep. So you're not even good enough to build it.
That's right. You got the thought.
And we
you got
come
the
from the
heart
line
right.
of David.
That's right. You got your heart right, but you still can't do it. I got to get somebody whose hands ain't full of blood.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a good point. Even if your heart is right, if you still ain't clean, you still can't touch it.
That's right. You might have all the good intentions in the world, but you can't sing. So ain't no sense in you getting up there doing it. We need somebody that can sing.
That's right. That's right.
Are y'all understanding what I'm saying?
Yeah, I never thought of it like that,
Yeah.
but yeah, that's a perfect example. That's a good point. Yeah.
Yeah, you might be, you might have all the best intentions to do it, but you can't do it. We need somebody that's anointed to do it.
That's right. Yeah, he know who he gave a voice to. That's true.
Exactly.
For that
what?
reason.
And that's why I love when people say, he know my heart. And I'm like, he does. He does. That is desperately wicked. So it's not the thought that counts.
That's right.
Not to y'all.
That's right.
Not to y'all. He's an austere man.
Hey, listen. In the words of Akoti Danielle, he's out cold.
He out cold.
Oh, that's right. For real.
Listen, I tell people all the time, if we did the books of the Bible the way they were written, it wouldn't have a rating. It wouldn't have a rating. It would just be it's too graphic.
That's true.
It's too graphic. I mean, He loves everybody. No, he doesn't. No, he doesn't. Not true. You know.
Yeah, it be beyond
No, that's Yah. That's Yah.
It be beyond the R rating. You're right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The devil busy. I'm like, no, Yah allowed that to happen.
Mm-hmm.
To fit his purposes.
That's true. Man, we was talking about that the other day. About I don't know if you guys seen this documentary. I think it's called Sudden Death, where they were talking about
yeah.
You saw that?
I just watched it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what got us. But the other thing on there, and this is something that really got me, my wife pointed out, the way that some of those people died, they were looking up in the air and trying to fight off something, like they saw something.
Yeah, what was that about?
I don't know, but it brought me to the point of what Deacon Kiefer just said, that Most High does everything. He said, I kill and I make alive. And that's the thing. You saw that in that documentary. I counted how many people did it. They turned around in circles and they looked like one dude, looked like somebody called him. Yeah. And he turned around in circles and looked up in the air and started turning around and fell down dead.
Right. They all did the same thing.
But that's what brought me to what Deacon Kiefer was saying. It's like, no, you want to blame the devil for what's going on? No. Most High said, I kill and I make alive. And you watch that documentary, Sudden Death, you see it.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all drawing your own conclusions from what you see, but what I was looking at, they saw something.
Have you all seen it?
Yeah, I watched it last night.
I haven't. Yeah, I haven't seen it.
I'm gonna send it to you.
This is the first time even hearing about it. But Alicia said she heard about it. I didn't see it, but I said Wendy Williams. I've said this about Wendy Williams. They have a video of her falling over.
Oh.
But she looked like she seen something. And it was like, it was recorded. Like, it's like she looked and she said, I like she was trying to say what she seen and she passed out. She fell over.
Elder, wait till you see these people when you see them.
Yeah.
You know they saw something. It ain't no guess. One guy was literally trying to fight off what was on him.
Mm-hmm.
When you see it, there's no question in your mind. You definitely know they saw something.
So did
Oh,
Wendy Williams
what
die?
did you watch it on? Oh, no, she didn't die, Lakoti.
Oh,
She's still severely sick though.
right. I heard
She retired. She retired right after that, and she became, gravely ill. But she
Mm-hmm.
didn't. She didn't. Of course, she didn't die. But when I
Did she?
seen the video of her, and
Mm-hmm.
they showed the clip of her, I said, "Oh, she's seen a demon or something. She seen something."
A demon, an
The look
angel,
Wow.
or
on,
something. Yeah.
yeah, the look on her
Yeah.
face, the what she seen, the
Ooh.
look on her face, and
Because you know,
she just fell over. She was,
Mm-hmm.
recording, and she just fell over, and the look on her face looked like she was trying to say what she seen, and she just went down.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm
and
saying? It looked crazy.
wait till you see this. You definitely see it. Because my wife, she had watched it before I did, and she said, "I want to show you this." So we watched it together. Because she said
Mm-hmm.
what brought to her mind was when she saw that was like every time you saw in scriptures, the angel would appear before somebody. It would always tell them what? Fear not, because they were terrifying. And so she said, "Well, watch this video and watch some of these people." Of course, you know that I don't think that portion of the video is till like you get 75% into it. But when you see it, the very first one, when this guy was standing at a checkout window or something, or a bank cashing window or something, or I don't know what it was, but he turned around very slowly, like he was terrified. And when he
Yeah.
did, he put his hands up in the air and his eyes looked up, and he was terrified, and then he fell dead.
Mm-hmm.
And there were 5
Wow.
others that did the same thing.
So I don't know if there's more than, because when I look, okay, Odyssey, that's where I saw it on.
Mm-hmm.
And so I know when I was looking at it, there was more than one, but it's all mostly about the funeral homes and how when they try to embalm people, they have these blood clots.
These
And
fibrous,
these fibrous white blood clots. And they said they had these funeral home directors that have been embalming people for 30 years, 50, they've had funeral homes forever. And they said until this vaccine came out, they've never experienced this before, never had an issue embalming people. They said they've tried to embalm them and it won't go through. Like normally it goes through, and it won't go through now. So when they did the autopsies, they cut them open and they were just pulling out these
clots,
long clots
These
that were
clots,
just
yeah.
Now it's very
fibrous.
Now
graphic.
I've seen. I've seen something like that, but it was a snippet on something else. But I didn't
Yeah.
see.
That's what this whole documentary is about. I mean,
Right.
it's very
Okay.
graphic. If you can't stand the sight of blood and cutting on people, don't watch it.
If somebody got the link, send it to me, because I
Yeah,
don't know.
I'm gonna send it to you. And so and then at the end they explain all of what's going on, and they have records and documentation. Because when the patients, they're not even patients anymore because they're dead, but when these bodies come to them, I guess they have a little bit of their history. They know whether or not they've been vaccinated, whether or not they had COVID. And so that's what they were saying, all these patients have been vaccinated.
Mm-hmm.
But it's it's chilling when you watch it, and the wickedness that they're doing, and it's all because of population control. They want to do this and they also talked about all these women who are having miscarriages. And then if they do keep the baby, they can only hold it for so much length of time. And they end up having stillbirths. And they said this is the they haven't seen this many stillbirths ever. Like, this is record breaking.
Like they had so many and so many amounts of like months.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like back to back to back to back.
Exactly.
It's like I said, it's very graphic. So if you're squeamish, don't watch it. But it's very interesting, and they give they give numbers on the things that we're discussing, like the miscarriages, the cancers, the blood clots. They give numbers and all that stuff. And so it's very good. It's a lot of good information in there. But I'm telling you, when you watch it, you're gonna see some things that first thing you're gonna think about is scripture.
Mm-hmm.
Is it demonic?
No, not at all. Not at all.
No, it's mostly medical.
I'm squeamish in that regard. I can't
No,
watch
it's
nothing
mostly
demonic.
medical stuff.
Correct. Yeah, it's mostly about medical, but it's very graphic in the sense that they show them pulling the blood clots out.
Mm-hmm.
They show them cutting them open to pull the blood clots out of the arteries and the veins and stuff like that. And then they show it on on that little metal table that they put the stuff on. So I just, some people I know, they get kind of squeamish about that, but that's probably the most graphic part.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's not demonic at all. Yeah,
you won't
it's a
see
documentary.
anything else but that, what he said. It's really
Okay, as long as it's not demonic, I can watch it. It don't matter. They cut somebody's head off. I can watch that, but I just can't do the demon stuff.
No, it's not. It's not like that at all. Yeah, it's not like that at all.
Say that again.
Said I'm with a culty on the demons. I don't watch those kind of.
I don't either. I can't.
Oh yeah, me neither.
Yeah, I can't watch that stuff.
No.
I don't watch that stuff. But no, this is, like I say, it's a documentary, and it's got some interesting facts that they're speaking on, because they give numbers and all that. And like I said, they just show. They don't really edit the stuff. They're videotaping, and they show these things that, like, what goes on what happens to a cadaver on a table. So that's all. But no, as far as demonic, no, I don't watch stuff like that.
Hold on.
I'm looking for it now, but I don't know if we have the exact same video, but you can send them what you have and I'll send them what I have. I'm looking for it.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same video though, right? It's not the same video?
Well, we hope so, yeah. I mean, from
we're
what we're
hoping
talking about.
Because like I said, I seen, when I went on Odyssey, I saw they had a bunch of them. So it was like,
okay, I got you.
Clips,
I got you.
Like a trailer. So there might be 2 or 3 different ones or something like that. Yeah.
Hey sis, the one you watched, how long was it? Because I know the one we watched was probably a little over an hour.
That's the same one. Mine was about an hour and something. Yeah.
About hour, 5 minutes, hour, 10 minutes, something like that.
Yeah, that's the same one then, probably.
Okay. Yeah. Yep. Very, very interesting. But like I said, what really got me is those people, when the way they died, they saw something. I don't care what nobody says. They saw something. They heard something called their name, something. Don't nobody turn around and walk in a circle looking up in the sky and then just drop dead.
Right.
Wow.
They saw something.
Really?
Yes. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Was it a bunch of Japanese people? I'm sorry.
It was some of them. Some of them were. Some of them were. I think the majority of them were, Asian.
Okay, I think I might have saw something like that on TikTok or something.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I just sent it to Elder. And you want me to send it to you, Akoti, or anybody?
No, I need it. I want to see it too.
I'm gonna send it to you too.
Hey, Coty.
Coty.
You know Elder and Coty live together, right?
I mean, I know, but they have a different phone. They have their own.
I know. I'm messing with you.
We won, Coty. We won.
Yes, they are one. Mm-hmm. Of course. No doubt. No doubt.
I had to mess with you. I'm sorry.
Most of the time when I send them messages, I group them anyway. They know it. Okay, I just sent it to you, Deacon Kiefer.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sister Washington, you said you wanted?
Yeah.
I want to make sure I have your name in here.
Yeah, thank you.
Did you get it?
Yes.
Okay, all praises. Ema, is it 307 3779?
No.
What's your phone? Is it 307? Start with 307?
It's 734.
Okay, that's not you. I'm not sure if I have your number, but maybe
I'll text it to you.
Yeah, you
I
can
forwarded it
text
to her.
it. Okay, yeah.
I forwarded it to her.
Okay.
Yeah, when y'all sit down and check that out, you'll see. I mean, to me, after I watched it, it was like, man, this world is just like, we never really knew how wicked and evil this world was. You know, when you start thinking about coming up, growing up, young adult, you know, child and all that type of stuff. Our parents didn't even realize. I'm pretty sure they saw some things, but you just don't realize, and it just seems like it's more of the wickedness is being revealed more and more.
Mm-hmm.
So you really don't realize how much you're being watched over, how much the Most High has been really had it, how much He's really had His hand on you. And so when it talks about his saints and those that, you know, his chosen, you start to realize how important that is and what that really means when you see the wickedness of this world being revealed in certain ways. It's crazy.
I agree.
Yeah,
I got a
you
question.
really.
Does anybody else, or is it just me, when you watch like some of these worldly movies and documentaries and things, you see things from a different lens, a completely biblical sense, and see other
Always.
things that
Yes.
Always now. You can't see it any other way.
So now that you're awakened, yeah.
Yeah, that's the only eye you have now. You know, it seems like.
I was talking about different stuff that I've seen with Edomites, and they like, oh, they'll say what they seen, and I'm like, I ain't see that. I seen something completely different. But I won't,
Mm-hmm.
I don't cast my pearls before swine. But I'm just saying,
Right.
I just see everything different now. It's always in a biblical sense, and I can always find a scripture to line up with what I see.
That's good though. It means that your mind is changing, your heart is changing, which is good.
She has the discernment to see that. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because like what you listen to, that you hear everything now differently. What you watch, you see everything differently. Even your conversations, it's like certain people you don't even talk to no more because of the conversations have changed. You know, you don't talk about or have no interest in some of these other things anymore.
Yeah, I had no friends.
Yep, same here. Same here.
All praises. I'm grateful for it, though. You know what? It's a relief,
Mm-hmm.
because my mind is focused on the Most High 24 hours a day. So we
There you
don't have
go.
nothing in common. If you're not in the truth, then, we don't have
Mm-hmm.
nothing in common. And even if you claim to be in the truth and you're not living righteous, we don't have nothing in common.
Yeah, where's the fruit? Exactly. What fruit are you
Exactly.
showing?
Exactly.
And you're protecting your temple to make sure that you don't get led astray, or that they'll turn you away from Yah. You know what I mean?
I know what you mean. That's impossible, but I know what you mean. I don't know. I see my life has changed like a whole lot more than normal because I really have no other interest other than the Most High. So I'm grateful for that.
That's good. All
Right.
praise. All praise.
All
Yeah.
praises.
I guess I meant like the temptation, or if it's say you have.
No, I know what you mean. I know what you
Yeah.
mean because I got a lot of friends and they call and, hey girl, I ain't heard from you in a while, and then it's always into that unrighteous conversation, and then unfruitful and unprofitable. So, at that point it's just like, oh girl, I gotta go. I'll call you back in a minute. And click, and don't call you for 3 months. So yeah. But
Yeah.
I'm grateful. I just wanted to know if y'all felt the same way when y'all
Oh,
watched it.
absolutely. Absolutely.
All praises.
Yeah, I really enjoyed the fellowship today and the lesson. It was excellent.
There was. It was a good class too, Maccabees, and I enjoyed the fellowship as well. Yeah.
Yep. All praises.
All praises.
All praises.
You know, it was good lesson when the person that taught the lesson fell off and everybody else still on.
Right.
Yes, right. Absolutely.
All praises. Yeah, they got me about to go and take another shower now. So I'm heading to the shower.
Hey, I just got out the shower. When I muted my phone, I was in the shower.
Oh man.
Arthur Kussler got a historical account of a Muslim cleric who went up in Europe. And he was a historian, and his account of meeting the Khazars. When he met the Khazars, he said that the leader of the Khazars had on a pair of drawers that was falling off for him, turning into dust because he had never took them off.
Oh,
what?
I think I remember.
The Muslim cleric, his historical account of meeting the Khazars.
That's disgusting.
Is when he met the leader of the Khazars, that he had on a pair of drawers that virtually turned to dust on his body because he never took them off.
Man, you know when you wear something till the funk come off of it, that's just too much.
Listen.
He also said that he took note that he dug in the falling off underwear and dug out lice. And ate the lice.
Oh man.
Hey, listen.
And said that this is delicious.
No.
Oh, he ate.
Listen.
He ate some lice out of his pubic hairs.
It said delicious, huh?
It said it was delicious.
When I was in the third grade, they sent a notice home from elementary school saying that it was an outbreak of lice. And my father was like, "Don't worry about it. We black. We don't get lice. White people get lice."
You know what? But you know what? The thing is, I remember in school they was always doing those type of checks, but it was never any black kids that had that.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Never.
My father said,
we don't get lice.
Yeah, my father said that's not for us. I said, don't worry about it. He said, don't worry about it. You're not white. We don't get lice.
Yeah.
Just like they probably gonna, say something about it on YouTube, but a couple things we said today, but who cares? Just like a dog get fleas, they get lice.
Yep.
Yeah.
They don't lice is not attracted to us. Not our hair follicles, not our skin, none of that. But it is attracted to them folks.
Yep.
And so what happens when they get wet? What do they smell like?
Yep. You know what I was told? I was told that the reason why is because they got the same stuff in their skin that the animals have. And it was a person who did hair told me that it was a what they call that, sulfur. When they got that in their skin. That's why when they get wet like that, they smell like that.
Yeah. Nothing but wet dog. Or wet animal, I don't know.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, the more I understand, the more I see is I'm very thankful for who I am and what the Most High's choice was. So that makes you all the more fervent about staying in His Word and doing the right thing.
Exactly.
Yeah, it does. Because you didn't have to be here. You know, you didn't have to get revealed to you what has been revealed and all of that. So
it
should humble you.
Not gonna be. It don't matter what you do. Just everybody's not gonna understand. Everybody's not gonna end up in the pit.
Mm-hmm.
No, you're right about that. You're absolutely right.
Yeah, I concur. I totally agree.
What is the weather like in Detroit? I'm in Chicago now. It was minus 13 degrees the other day.
Ooh.
Oh no, it was freezing here like that too. But I think it was like 50 or something today. It was pretty warm today. What was it, Coach? What was the temperature today?
It got up to about 50. And tomorrow, I think I heard in the next day or two, it's going to be all like 58.
Yeah.
And then it's going to get cold again. But still not that cold. It'll be like in the 40s after that.
It was sunny and 71 down here.
Wow.
Yeah, it's pretty warm out here, especially compared to 18 degrees.
If I didn't see so many flight cancellations, I'd probably be gone by now. It's been warm, but I think they have over 240 something flights canceled just today alone.
Oh yeah, why?
I don't know what's going on. They're trying to
because New York and parts of the Midwest, parts of the East Coast were still under, trying to dig out.
Oh, okay. Yeah, my weather thing said it got up to 52 today and 53 tomorrow.
I think Michigan just kind of lucked out that it didn't get as bad.
Mm-hmm.
You got all the cold, but you didn't get as much snow as expected.
Well, they always say that because we're surrounded by the Great Lakes, that always kind of shelters us and saves us a lot of times.
Oh no.
It does. It does.
No, you couldn't open your front door. You had a high voice. You used to get 6-7 foot drip once upon a time.
Mm-hmm. Like they had in Buffalo, they had in 2 days 8 feet of snow, man. That's ridiculous.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 71 and sunny. That sounds real nice.
It does. It does. Now, my cousin just came back from Vegas and said it was freezing. It was warm like one day. But of course, I know it gets cold. It's the desert, but, unseasonably cold. Just not normally cold the way it is right now.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Well, since the Deacon Key for Aki AP, either one of y'all can close out whenever y'all get ready.
I'm out of here now.
Say it again.
Yeah. Oh, closing out.
Mm-hmm.
Shalom, everyone.
Well, shalom. Let us know how you like that video.
I'm ready to watch it now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right, we'll do.
Shalom, everyone.
Shalom, shalom.
All right,
Shalom.
Shalom, shalom.